Hi, today I'm back in the forest, and this forest is a new one to me. I've never camped here before, so tonight is a tryout. And tonight's shelter is also a new thing. I'm going to be trying out for the first time what I call my ground hammock. I'll explain what the ground hammock's all about and why I've come up with it once I've put it up. So first things first, I'll go and set up camp. So let's get on with it. So this is what I call my ground hammock, and as you can see, I use my 3x3 tarp that I use for my hammock in a diamond shape on a ridge line, and then I've got a second ridge line that suspends the bug tent. And yes, technically I could have used the ridge line that I used for the tarp, but for the sake of an extra paracord, I'm not bothered about the weight. Now the idea of this is, if two of us want to come and bring the dog, we would have to bring two hammocks, two tarps, two under blankets, and find two suitable trees near enough to each other so we're actually camping together. And then we have the issue of the dog, and the dog wants to sleep where we're sleeping, and he's not very good in a hammock, we've tried. So this is the solution. This is a two-person bug net that's enough space for the two of us and the dog, and yet we've still got the open air feeling that you get when you're in a hammock. You know, in the diamond formation, you can see out from underneath the tarp, and you can still see the stars and everything at night. So that's why the ground hammock. But at the moment, it's all theory. I haven't tested it, so tonight I'm going to be sleeping in it on my own, and I'll be testing it out. Well, tonight's camp was very last minute, and I did actually have something to eat at home before I came. Big bowl of broth, so I probably don't really need to eat anything tonight. But I have brought my stove with me, and tonight I bought a firebox. Now I know I don't normally have open fires, but I brought with me my firebox, and I set mine up on a tin tray, twofold. One, it reduces any risk of the heat passing through to the ground, but also if I'm having a problem with this thing, I can pick it up and move it, and I like that, you know what I mean? It's portable. So I've always carried a little tin dish to sit it in. And well, there's no shortage of wood around here. I mean, there's absolutely handfuls of dry wood all over the floor. So obviously I'm going to have to be very careful. I'm going to keep it small, and I think I'll get a brew on. So I've got with me my little old Trangia kettle, which will fit nicely on the top of there, and we'll get a brew going. There we go, cup of char, just what the doctor ordered. Cheers. So as I said, I hadn't really planned this trip at all. So obviously I've got my brew kit, I've got a cup of tea, and I threw a few things in a bag. So let's have a look what I bought with me. I've always got an emergency meal in my bag, and I bought a Sprayway Trekker's Table chili con carne, a full freeze-dried meal. Now, you know how I feel about freeze-dried meals, but these were a bargain because they're out of date. So I got them for like 40p each. So if I'm really hungry, I can have a chili. But yeah, don't fancy that. Oh yeah. A couple of Chili Wave bags of Doritos, so they could go with the chili, or I could eat them on their own. What have we got? A coconut and, what's that say? A coconut and chocolate granola bar. Don't know where that came from, but that could be breakfast. That sounds like a plan. And oh, now we look like we're talking. They're a bit squashed, but yeah. Fancy Lou French butter biscuits. I think that might be just a ticket to go with my cup of tea. So let's crack these open. Oh, bloody hell, drop them on the floor. They're looking a bit squashed. I'm not sure how long they've been in the bottom of that bag, but anyway, let's open them up. Oh yeah, 2 packs of those. So, okay. So 2 of those. Kind of reminiscent of ration packs, but I bet you they taste better than ration pack biscuits. Now they're fancy biscuits. If I can find an unbroken one, I'll try a dunk. Because a biscuit ain't a biscuit unless you can dunk it. That's a proper good biscuit. So I'm going to drink my tea and munch some biscuits and just chill out, because the forecast was thunder and rain tonight. But tonight was really it. That's all I've got. And there were big black clouds earlier. I've got blue sky and no clouds. And a nice gentle breeze, so no flies. It's turning out to be a good camp. So I'm going to drink my tea and eat some biscuits. So for tonight's history bit, I thought I'd tell you the story of a young girl who grew up not far from here and who rose to become an infamous con artist that was wanted on 3 continents. Here's the history bit. Annie Gordon Bailey was born in February 1848 in Peterhead in North East Scotland, the illegitimate daughter of a washerwoman and an unknown father. She spent her childhood in and out of the poorhouse, receiving little formal education. Despite her humble origins, contemporaries noted her striking beauty and charm, traits she would later exploit in her future. By her 20s, Annie had developed a taste for the high life, without the means to support it. She wasn't posh or an aristocrat, but she found a way of convincing people that she was exactly that. She ran up credit with shopkeepers across Victorian Britain under more than 40 different aliases, collected the goods, and then just vanished into the ether. Now, when her cons started to attract the attention of the police, rather than giving up the life of crime, she decided to go big. In the 1870s, she launched a fake charity to build a Protestant school for girls in the centre of Rome. Donations poured in from sympathetic Victorians, and yet no school was ever built and the cash just disappeared. After living off her ill-gotten gains for a couple of years, the law finally caught up with her in 1872. She was tried and ended up spending 9 months in prison for the fraud. After her release from prison, Bailey appeared to turn over a new leaf. She married an opera singer called Thomas White, had 3 children, and lived in New York for a while. But it wasn't long before she returned to her old ways. In November 1884, dressed in luxurious clothing and dripping with jewels, Bailey arrived on the Isle of Skye, passing herself off as a wealthy literary lady who was there to write a novel about the plight of the crofters of Skye. Now at the time, Scotland's west coast was in open revolt. The tenant farmers were fighting the landlords over land rights, evictions and the burning down of their homes. The crofters were at war. Having won the trust of the crofters of Skye, who were genuinely desperate, she raised money from them and told 1,000 islanders that she had found a fresh start for them in Australia, where they could escape the mass evictions of the Highland clearances. She travelled to Australia to secure the deal in person. The land shown to her when she arrived in Melbourne was an uninhabitable stretch of marsh. She negotiated anyway. They'd been farmers, she said, and they could become fishermen. The deal in the end collapsed, and she came back empty-handed and returned to London, and yet again the money disappeared. Scotland Yard caught up with her in 1888. Not for the swamp skiing. Let's face it, the plight of farmers of Skye was small beer compared to her swindling of the fancy shops in London. She was sentenced to 5 years. After her release, again she was caught by the police, this time for stealing paintings. Now around 1900 she is known to have returned back to New York, and then nothing. No death record, no further arrests. She and all of her 40 alias names simply disappeared. Nothing is known of what happened to the girl from Peterhead who conned the shopkeepers and ripped off the crofters of Skye. Well, I hope you found that interesting. Now, I've got a couple of hours of daylight left, and actually the sky is clearing because it was getting dark earlier, and I thought, yeah, it'd get dark really fast tonight. But no, the thunderclouds seem to have gone away. I think they've probably gone out to sea, and I've got blue skies. So I reckon I've got about 2 hours of daylight left, so I'm going to kick back, chill out for a bit, and I'll bring you back when it's getting dark. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, it's 10 o'clock. The moon is up behind me over there, and turn around again, that's a bit better, and the sun is almost down, but the wind has dropped, it's dead still, and the place is absolutely swarming with midges. So I am going to get into the tent and listen to my book. Now, what's also happening is over there's a massive thunderstorm forming up, and I think this still air is the calm before the storm. So what I've done is I've changed my tent setup. There we go. I'll spin it right round. So what you can see I've done is I've gone for the standard A-frame with the 3x3. It gives me a lot more coverage. I like the diamond point because you get a lot more view out of it, and you can like raise the sides up. But I think I'm going to get heavy rain in the night, so I'm preparing for it. So I'll show you what I've done. So yeah, I've dropped the tarp down a bit, and I've set it in a more kind of traditional square fashion. It'll give me a lot more coverage, and if it rains in the night, the rain should run off and I'll be nice and dry. So I'm going to get inside the bug net because I am getting eaten alive, and I will put the camera on if we get a clear sky and get some stars, because that's what I'm hoping for tonight. If the storm doesn't hit, we should get a starry night, but I'm going to get into the tent anyway. Well, that's me in the bug net, and it is doing its job, thank God, because it was, yeah, I was getting eaten alive out there. I have got a head over bug net, but, you know, gloves, and yeah, when the midges start going for you, they really go for you. So I'm in, I'm going to sit and listen to my book for a bit, and I'll see if I can catch some stars, but if not, I'll see you in the morning. So I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. That was a good night's sleep. Got a bit cold in the night, but the wind got up, and yeah, there's no wind protection at all in this mesh tent, so must remember that for next time. But anyway, time to get up, get made up and get going. So let's go.